The default mode network is an often misunderstood part of the brain. It's responsible for memory consolidation, emotional processing, creative insight, and your sense of self. It's also the source of rumination, anxiety loops, and the repetitive thought patterns that keep you stuck. The same network can be a resource or a liability. The difference is how well you can influence when it activates and when it does not. Exercise gives you that influence. It's one of the most direct means of access you have to the brain's default mode. You can use exercise to shut off the default mode network when rumination is spinning out, or to turn it on when you need creative insight and emotional processing. The key is matching the right type of exercise to the right problem. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Consistency, from fitness to flourishing. The off switch, escaping rumination. When you're trapped in an anxious thought loop, it's difficult to think your way out. The default mode network is running the show. The more you try to suppress the thought, the more the network rehearses it. Trying to reason your way out of rumination can feel like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. High-intensity exercise using complex, multi-joint movements solves this. Movements like kettlebells, burpees, agility ladders, and coordination-heavy drills force the central executive network to hijack all available cognitive resources. The default mode network starves from a lack of processing power. There is simply no bandwidth left for the rumination loop. This is not a metaphor. Complex coordination demands bottom-up sensory feedback and intense motor planning. If you let your mind wander back to the email that upset you, you will physically drop the weight or lose your balance. The body enforces the cognitive shift. The mind follows. The high-intensity pendulum works in two phases. During the physical output, the default mode network is suppressed. The moment the workout ends, researchers observe a massive rebound increase in default mode network functional connectivity. The brain goes from quiet to active, and the content it processes now is shaped by the physiological state of the workout, not the previous anxiety loop. The practical protocol is 15 to 20 minutes of high-intensity interval work using complex multi-joint movements, barbell cleans, kettlebell snatches, agility work. Enough cognitive demand that rumination becomes physically impossible. The format used in popular boutique-style fitness studios, for example, F45, works particularly well here because the overhead screens, countdown timers, and following set station rotations force continuous cognitive engagement. The participant cannot drift. The rumination loop has no room to operate. The on switch, accessing recovery and insight. The same tool can be used for the opposite effect. When you are stuck on a creative problem, carrying unprocessed emotion, or you need to consolidate new learning, you need the default mode network active, not suppressed. The free walking protocol is the simplest entry point. 20 to 30 minutes of steady state, zone 2 cardio in an unstructured environment. A park trail, a winding path, a relaxed bike ride. The movement is automated enough to require minimal executive control. The central executive network steps down. The default mode network activates. The critical rule is the same as the one we explored in my series on the science of cognitive recovery, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. No input. No podcasts, no audiobooks, no phone. The brain must be left to process internal data without external stimulation. The aha moment arrives during the walk because the default mode network connected ideas that focused attention could not reach. The free walking group, in a famous study by Dr. Leung and her research team, showed massive default mode network activation and sharp improvements in creative fluency and original thinking compared to those walking in rigid, designated patterns, literally a rectangle taped on the floor. A second option to turn the default mode network on is a rest interval idling protocol. Traditional strength training relies on 3 to 5 minute rest intervals between sets. These periods of physical recovery and stillness between intense bursts of focus act as perfect micro-recovery windows for the default mode network. The phone stays away, the eyes rest, the mind wanders. The default mode network does the work that the executive network cannot do during the set. This takes its own discipline, as any rest falling below 2 minutes between sets is not enough to allow the default mode network to become active. Matching the tool to the problem. The framework is simple. If you are trapped in rumination, reach for the off switch. High-intensity interval work with complex multi-joint movements. 15 to 20 minutes. Enough cognitive demand that the brain cannot sustain the anxiety loop. If you need creative insight, emotional processing, or memory consolidation, reach for the on switch. Zone 2 walking without input. Rest interval idling between strength training sets. 20 to 30 minutes of unstructured, low-demand movement. The body is the most direct access you have to what is happening inside your brain. It's not a distraction from the mental work. It's the mechanism. Use it deliberately. When you're ready to turn your exercise consistency from an idea into a lived experience, start your day one inside the ACT Score Challenge. That's it for today. Catch you next time.